Tuesday was International Day of Zero Tolerance for Female Genital Mutilation, which is defined as the partial or total destruction of female genitalia for non-medical reasons. It's usually justified on cultural or religious grounds, and there are an estimated 200 million women and girls worldwide, including almost 6,000 in Ireland, who've been subjected to it. Female genital mutilation is illegal here, but do some people still support this barbaric practice? Dr. Ali Selim of the Islamic Cultural Centre is quoted in an interview in the Medical Independent today as saying that it cannot be banned but reasonably practiced. Dr. Selim, how can the mutilation of the genitalia of girls or women be reasonably practiced?
Well, I'm not an advocate of female genital mutilation, but I am an advocate of female circumcision. We see circumcision, male circumcision, in the same way we see female circumcision. It might be needed for one person and not another, and
okay,
hence it has to be determined by a doctor, and it has to be practiced in a safe medical environment.
Okay, just to clarify, the legislation which defines female genital mutilation does cover what you're talking about, what you call circumcision. It's very clear. It's the excision, infibulation or other mutilation of the whole or any part of the labia, prepuce of the clitoris or vagina of a girl or woman. So under Irish
law, for no medical reason. Is that not what he said?
So and then you go on to say medical reasons. Now, interestingly enough, Professor Chris Fitzpatrick, who's a consultant obstetrician and gynaecologist at the Coombe, is quoted in the same article in the Medical Independent today. There are no health benefits, just misery, suffering and ill health for millions. There is no such thing as reasonable practice or limited excision. The World Health Organization says there are no health benefits for girls and women, but lots of problems. And then it goes on to detail the problem. So what medical reason would justify what you refer to as female circumcision and most people would refer to as female genital mutilation?
Well, the same medical reason that would justify male circumcision. You see, and as we're saying, you see, it is not an obligation, but it should be allowed by law, if needed, and a medical doctor can decide if it is needed or not needed. People by nature are different. People's organs are different. What one person needs is not necessarily needed by another person, and it should be determined by a doctor. So what is wrong with that? But it has been portrayed, in fact, in a horrible image, always described as barbaric. Always we hear the term mutilation. So it is portrayed as a dark-skinned practice or a practice that belongs to the Dark Ages. And currently in Europe here, people to be cool, so you have to be to show a revolutionary attitude against the inherited practice, which is not fair. We have to consider.
Hold on a second, Dr. Selim. Are you saying that because it's an inherited practice, it is in some way justified if the medical evidence suggests that it's not?
No, what I am saying is if it is inherited, it does not mean that it has to be rejected, but it has to be considered and not rejected because it belongs or because it is something inherited. Like if in Ireland here we have had a number of legal amendments, and these legal amendments were introduced because we considered and reconsidered the situation in Ireland. Likewise, we should be entitled to consider and reconsider. And if something is illegal, it does not necessarily mean that theoretically you have no right to disagree.
The legislation at the moment does allow for medical procedures under the supervision of a doctor if there are medical reasons, although it appears that those reasons would be fairly few and far between. Do you support people who say they should be allowed to carry out this practice for cultural or religious reasons?
Not for culture, but it has to be like...
Do you support them for religious reasons?
In the Quran it reads very clearly, ask the people of knowledge if you do not know. And in this regard, what it means you ask a medical doctor. Is it needed in this regard or not? In fact, in many cases, as far as I know, it has been expressed by a number of surgeons, with highly respect to the gentleman that you have named.
Do you
but
support...
other surgeons... just let me finish this point here.
I really need to get an answer from this. Do you support people who say they should be allowed to carry out this procedure for religious reasons?
If a doctor advises that it is needed, then it has to be allowed.
So you do not believe that it should be carried out purely for religious reasons?
Well, purely for the religion does not say it has to be practiced. The religion says, ask the people of knowledge if you do not know. And here comes the answer. If a doctor says, yes, this person is in need of it, it's just like male circumcision. When they go to a doctor, we see not all the time circumcision is exercised for males, and even the portion that is removed varies from one person to another. Well, then we need a medical expert to tell us if it is needed or not needed.
Okay, so you are saying that if somebody comes to you and seeks your advice and says, I believe, although many Islamic scholars would deny that female circumcision is actually allowed by the Quran, if somebody comes along to you and says, I believe for religious reasons that my daughter should be circumcised,
I'll advise him to go and ask the doctor.
and if the doctor says no?
Well, then no.
Okay, and what about people who say that they want to travel outside this country to have a procedure carried out somewhere else?
Well, you can't control them because just like the
Well, you
people
can,
who...
'cause it's against the
just
law.
other ones. No, it's against the law, but it's against the law to practice abortion, and people just cross the border and do abortion and come back.
So what would you say to somebody who said that they were going to take their daughter overseas?
I'll say if you take the daughter abroad, ask a doctor. You need to a doctor has to say, yes, this person is in need of it. But you, because you're not a medical doctor, you can't tell if it's needed or not needed. A medical doctor has to say there is a need for that so that it is practiced.
Okay, but if there's no medical reason, you would be against them travelling, you would be
Yes.
against them having this procedure?
Definitely.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Ali Selim. Thank you. Miriam?